What is up, YouTube? And today we are going to be talking about a character that recently got buffed in the last update that you might be able to use for farming now. That's going to be pretty strong, not just for farming, but for tower, which is going to be something that you're going to have to progress. Basically, tower is going to be separated into two separate forms. Once you beat floor 100, you unlock Tower of Trials, but you want to climb this because you get a ton of rewards, a ton of summons. And actually at the top at 200, not the top, but close to the top, you actually get a 7 Knights of Old ticket. So this is like really important to get at floor 200. So, this area of content is not something you want to ignore. So because of this, this character is really good there, but also, is she good at farming? We're going to find out today. So the character we're talking about is actually going to be Velika. So Velika recently got buffed. They basically buffed her strictly for Tower of Trials and slightly for farming. If you guys want to actually see the changes here, we can actually look at it together. So basically, her basic attack now will reduce skill cooldowns of all your allies in Tower of Trials and Infinite Tower only. And this skill cooldown reduction is Giga OP. So you can see once you skill enhance it, it becomes 12-second cooldowns. It's when she basic attacks, not when she uses a skill. So when she auto attacks, your entire team's skill cooldowns are going down. So this is really OP because in Tower and when you're running like a CC comp, you just spam CC. You don't have to interact really. It's really, really dumb. I'll showcase it in a separate video later, but today we're going to talk about farming. In terms of what got buffed for farming, you're going to see that her Summon Meteor got buffed. So before the skill enhance was pretty useless, it just increased the burn duration and the chance. Now what it's actually going to do is give you the old Transcendence 2 effect. So the old Transcendence 2 effect is in the skill enhancement now. You're just getting extra damage to it. And when you crit, you're getting additional damage, which is already a thing. It's just getting buffed. So this skill got buffed damage-wise, which is pretty cool. The other thing that got changed is her other AoE ability. The damage didn't get changed at all. It just will have a silence effect at Transcendence 6. So this doesn't really matter too much for like 95% of players. But it's going to be more for PvP and for tower for whales, honestly. Now her passive got a pretty big change as well. So instead of like an AoE crit buff for your team, it got changed to a self crit buff. And now she also gets a barrier at the start of battle, which can help in some farming stages if you don't end up two-shotting with your AoE abilities. But she loses the AoE aura, right? But because it's a self aura now, it's actually a higher crit rate boost. So because of that, she's going to be easier to build for farming because you don't really care about boosting the crit rate of your fodder, right? On top of that, she also has this new aura. Basically, she gets increased magic damage boost to her entire team while in Tower of Trials and Infinite Tower, so that's really good for Tower. And they changed her Transcendence to basically be Transcendence 2 for this. And it's the same thing as the old Transcendence 6, where if you fall below 50% health, you get a barrier, right? So it's a pretty cool change. It's going to make her a lot better in Tower. She's like insanely strong there. But the biggest thing is, her Summon Meteor got buffed a bit with the skill enhance, and also you get slightly more crit rate as well, right? The magic damage boost is only for Tower, so you don't get it. But still, a lot of people have been telling me to test her out in farming from this buff. And I'm going to let you guys know right now, she is decent for farming at Nightmare 1-1. After that, I don't really think you can farm with her, because you'll see her damage is going to be cutting it close. But she's a pretty decent farmer for newer players, and the best part about her is even if you build her as a farmer, you're going to use her anyways in Tower anyways. So it's not like a lost investment is what I'm trying to say. So if you invest into her, it's not like, oh, you're going to farm with her for a little bit and then replace her and never use her again. You are going to use her to push Tower, especially if you use a magic comp with like Mercure, which is like one of the most broken magic characters in the game, right? So yeah. Currently, there's not too many farmers in the game that are good. You have like Tio, who's like god tier, right? You have Yanni, who's also very, very good. And then Klahan, right? You have like 3 legendary farmers that are very strong. People sometimes use other characters, but those 3 are going to be the best, in my opinion. And now we have like a 4th option for people that either got her at the beginning of the game, when you get that free legendary from that random 10 pull, the beginner 10 pull, or people that just randomly pulled her, right? Because she's been pretty useless until now, and you're going to see with this setup that she's going to be able to farm pretty easily. And my gear is not the best, but not the worst either. It's pretty decent, I'd say, at this stage of the game. And I do actually have her on a ring. If you're probably thinking, oh my god, he's using a legendary ring, that's why he's able to do it. Actually, this ring is worse than a gray ring because the effect just gives me a barrier. Doesn't really do much, right? And Guts is basically a cheat death, which you might be thinking, oh my god, he's cheesing it by reviving, but no, I don't die in this run because, yeah, she kills. But basically, you can see that my gear, even though it might seem really good, I don't have the skill enhance, so I'm missing quite a bit of damage, right? From this ability, Summon Meteor, and you're going to see that it's definitely not really needed. So I'll show you guys the farming runs, and you could see how she is for yourself with your own eyes. So I'll show you guys the run. It's going to be pretty simple. I actually did switch my gear a little bit. The only thing I switched is one of my weapons from crit rate to crit damage because I was overcapping on crit. You have to keep in mind, you want to make sure you factor in this crit rate boost from her passive, otherwise you're kind of missing out on a huge part of her abilities. So you want to make sure you're at whatever plus this, depending on your skill enhancement, that you're at 100. So 27%, I have 75%, I'm over by 2%, but it's not the end of the world. And of course, you're going to see that, she's going to be able to kill. Now, in terms of pet, anything that boosts your damage is okay. I'm using a note because it gives me magic attack boost. You can use whatever you want. Mine's not even +5, which is pretty sad. But, your farming one, Mole, you can probably use on your TO team because that one's going to be a little bit stronger. Now, in terms of your skill priority, you're going to want to do the purple one into the red one. That's because this one will do magic vulnerability, which makes them take more damage. And then the red one will do not magic vulnerability. So you want it to go second, right? Because you want to benefit from that debuff to do more damage. Of course, you're going to do it in repeat battle. I'm doing one battle, so I'm just doing it in this interface. But I'll show you guys the run now. It's pretty simple. You're going to see that she's able to pretty much just wipe the mobs pretty quickly. So magic vulnerability goes out, and then you're going to see after she uses her other ability, the monsters will die. And you have to keep in mind, I'm not skill enhanced on my Velika, right? So I'm actually missing out on a lot of damage. If I was skill enhanced here, these would just get one shot, so it would make it so that the run is slightly faster. But you can see, you don't even need to skill enhance because most of the time you're going to be killing these anyways. But if you're looking to actually speed up the runs at the cost of that skill enhancement, stones even, because it's random, then you will want to actually invest into it, her skills, because you definitely want to get that one skill that buffs her attack on it, right? I think it's the purple one, right? Might be the red one. Either or. We'll have to check. But basically, you can see that she's a pretty good farmer. She does it in 43 seconds without skill enhances. I'm pretty sure if you put her on better gear, and if you even put her on, where is it here? If I can find her. Okay, so here she is. So yeah, if you just basically put her on, a little bit better gear, or if you hit the enhance on the Summon Meteor, the red one, okay, then it'll be even quicker than 40 seconds. And honestly, 40 seconds is already very fast, so it's really up to you if you want to invest into it. You will want to enhance the basic attack anyways for the harder tower stages if you want to use her there. So if you're like enhancing anyways to get her skills up, if you hit either of these, it's pretty good. So yeah, pretty much it for this video though, guys. Just wanted to showcase Velika in some nightmare farming. I'll showcase her in some Tower of Trials and Infinite Tower a little bit later on. There's a lot of stuff to make videos on, honestly, because there's a lot of content out. So yeah, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below if you guys are using Velika on your farm team now and how you're liking it and what setup you have. If you have a better setup, let me know, because I don't really use Velika for farming. I just wanted to show you guys that she's good for farming, especially for Nightmare 1-1. And if you guys have a better setup, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys next video.